Hi, I'm Brian, and I'd like to demonstrate part of Nuestra Historia 3. Nuestra Historia 3 is part of the Nuestra Historia curriculum from Voces Digital, which includes levels 1 through 4 in Spanish, and every level is based on comprehensible input. As a teacher, I know one of the best ways to provide input for my students is through reading. Unfortunately, many students do not share my enthusiasm for reading in Spanish. So I found there are 3 keys to making reading effective in my classes. The first key is that everything must be comprehensible. If students do not understand what they're reading, they will quickly tune out. The second key is that everything we read must be compelling. It must hold the interest and the attention of students and make them want to continue reading to see what happens next. And the third key is that as a teacher, I must vary the way in which I present reading to my students, not doing the same thing every time. Well, thanks to Nuestra Historia, I can now provide reading to my students that is comprehensible, compelling, and I can vary the way in which I do it. It's comprehensible because new structures are presented before reading with activities and personalized questions to allow students to internalize them, and then they are repeated at least 3 times within the text of the story. Also, every story is customizable. If there is a term that is unknown to your students, you can define it or repeat it or change it. For example, if the verb mandar is used and you would rather use enviar, you can adapt the text and change it. If there's something that your students know very well and is presented as a new structure, maybe you can change that out and make something else a new structure. So you can make the text comprehensible. The texts are compelling because they are based on culturally relevant themes from all Spanish-speaking countries, and they are designed to hold the attention. There is drama, there is suspense, there's humor, and the stories are made to hold the attention and make students want to know what happens next and maybe even forget about the reading process altogether. As a teacher, I can vary the way in which I present these to my students because I can read it to them from a printout. I can project it for my students. Students can read it on a computer or an iPad. Students can hear a native speaker reading the story to them. They can read individually, we can read in class, and we can do it a different way every time we read. I'd like to demonstrate a couple stories that come from level 3. The first one is called La Llegada de Maria, and it's a story based on Hurricane Maria, which struck Puerto Rico. And it's about a young woman named Natalia who is pregnant and can't flee the island like most people are doing, and her boyfriend Enrique, who refuses to leave her alone on the island, so they must remain when the storm hits. I'd like to read a short excerpt from it. La calle principal hacia el hospital estaba bloqueada por una inundación. Enrique no pudo pasar por el agua tan profunda. Tuvo que intentar otro camino. El segundo camino estaba bloqueado por un árbol que se había caído. Enrique paró el carro, se bajó y trató de mover el árbol. No pudo moverlo. Enrique era fuerte, pero el árbol era muy grande. Gritó: "Ojalá pudiera mover este árbol". De repente apareció un carro de policías. Un policía que se llamaba Osvaldo se bajó para hablar con Enrique. ¿Qué está haciendo? Usted no debe estar aquí en las calles. Es demasiado peligroso, le dijo Osvaldo. Ojalá pudiera estar en mi casa, pero mi novia está embarazada y el bebé ya está naciendo. Necesitamos ir al hospital, le dijo Enrique. So you can see the suspense that hopefully will hook students and make them want to continue reading. Another example is a story called La Esperanza entre los Escombros, which comes from the same unit in Nuestra Historia 3, based on weather, natural disasters. And again, I'd like to read a short part of this story. Inés les grita a los otros: "Hay una sobreviviente aquí entre los escombros, ayúdenme". Muchos voluntarios corren para ayudar. Mientras empiezan a quitar los escombros de encima de la niña, Inés habla con ella. Se llama Cristina, tiene 9 años. Estaba leyendo un libro en la clase cuando el terremoto sacudió a su escuela. Al principio creía que las sirenas eran parte de las prácticas para conmemorar el aniversario del terremoto de 1985. Cuando todo empezó a temblar, Cristina trató de escapar por una ventana. La escuela colapsó y Cristina quedó atrapada. Durante 2 días trató de llamar la atención de alguien, pero no tenía una voz fuerte. As you can see, this story is about the earthquake which hit Mexico. There's also an alternative version of this story, which is about the earthquake that hit Mexico in 1985. Several of the stories within all of the units of Nuestra Historia have alternative versions that are maybe a story from another point of view or an alternate ending to the story. Each unit is packed full of stories which are designed to be compelling to our students and to enrich the language that they can internalize. After every story, there are several activities that students can complete: online, printed out, digitally, written, orally. There are speaking activities, there are listening activities, there are activities based on the illustrations from the story, and several of the activities go beyond just comprehension and require that students engage with the story and maybe compare the story to a poem or a video or an infographic. As you can see, Nuestra Historia is full of stories and activities that are comprehensible, compelling, and can be presented in various ways. I hope you enjoy.